It worked. And so today what we've done is we've gone out and we've tried to build easy-to-use curriculums that anyone, anywhere, at any time have access to. So I'm doing 2 workshops. The one today is at 3:30, and it's all about introducing you to the Gama Academy. This is leadership development. This is over 300 different sessions about how to grow your leadership team. And we're going to talk about the 5 elements of leadership. And then tomorrow morning, we're going to talk all about, how we can do the same thing for our agents and our associates and how we can help grow them. Now, let me see if I can figure out how to turn this. Okay. The key, and we're talking about management development, there's not a day out there that we don't all face some sort of challenges out there. The road to success isn't always that easy. We have challenges in front of us, but the better prepared we are to reach these different levels of success, the easier it becomes and the more pleasant it becomes for all of us. The biggest challenges that we need to remember is that leaders are not born. Leaders are developed. Now that's leaders in sales, that's leaders in management. They have to be developed. It can't be a one and done. You can't have one meeting and then 6 months later have another meeting. It's got to be consistent. And that's one of the things that we want to talk about. There is no DNA cell that passes from one generation to the next generation. It's all about trying to develop ourselves. So, management development, as it is with producers, is an acquired skill. It is something that we know that repetition will become the mother of all learning. The more that we practice, the more that we hear it, the more that we digest the information, the easier it will become for all of us. And that's what we're here to talk about in the Gama Academy. It's about leadership and management. Now, that's a term that sometimes gets batted back and forth. Oh, he's a leader, he's a manager. They're really 2 separate areas, but they're both important. They're both important elements to success. Now, management is really about the science. No matter what level of manager you are, you need to understand the science of management. The science of management has to do with recruiting. It has to do with the selection process, to be very picky who you're going to bring onto your team. It talks about momentum building. Now maybe it's the fast start where it's a new rep, but maybe it's a veteran rep who's sort of hit a plateau and they're not growing anymore, they're not producing more. How do we help motivate them? How do we get them back to getting their momentum back? We're talking about training and development. Too often we find that agents in their first year or so are very enthusiastic about education, but after a year or 2, they're not so enthused. Well, are we training them the same way we did the first-year agent? We have to treat them differently. We have to develop them differently. And we'll talk about that. We'll talk about marketing and planning, and then probably the biggest area that I think is our biggest shortcoming in management today, and that's accountability. How do we hold them accountable without, being on their side and helping them do it? Then we'll get to the art of leadership. Now, leadership is totally separate than that of the management side. Now we're going to talk about how do you build relationships? How do you build trust? How are you going to establish a culture within your organization? How are you going to define the mission of what you're going to do? Provide directions, and then clarifying the purpose. So, in order to be good in management, you have to have the science as well as the art. And constantly trying to come in with it. Now, the Gama Academy is divided into 5 elements of success. We're talking about the leader's philosophy. We're going to talk about the foundational principles. These are the systems and programs that every organization should be running. We're going to talk all about the recruiting process. Now, in my world, recruiting is based on 3 things. It's finding the people, sourcing the people, getting them on board with you, on board to interview. Then it's the selection process. The 2 biggest, selection is probably one of the biggest critical areas we got to get better at. Then the 3rd area is getting them off to a fast start. That's what we see when the rubber hits the road. Can this recruit, who looks good, smells good, sounds good, can they really do the job? And that's where, again, the third element about momentum building comes into play. We'll talk about the development process and finally accountability. It's a virtual system. You've got to have it access 24/7. All of us need a coaching moment from time and again. We're going into a particular situation. We need help. Pull out your phone. Get onto any kind of internet. Get access to the information. You know, the biggest area to it is, yes, we have a core curriculum that we recommend everybody goes through, but then after that, we have over 60 specific areas. So every manager out there has different, issues, different weaknesses, areas that they want to improve in. Units have different areas. Agencies have different areas. So focus in on that one area. Maybe you don't have enough recruits coming in the door. Maybe it's about accountability. You can take specific courses on specific areas. There's over 300 videos in this session, in this curriculum. They average 10 minutes. I think it's got to be short. I think it's got to be to the point. I think it's got to be enthusiastic for people. We also have the show me videos, which is role playing. Some people are good listening to a lecture. Other people are better seeing it done. So that's what show me's do. They all have participant guides, 7-page participant guides to talk about, so the rep, whether it's going to do a self-study or they're going to do an instructor-led, have step-by-step of what they need to do. And then, of course, we have the instructor guides, step-by-step on how to. An instructor of one of our courses needs 30 minutes prep time. Watch a 10-minute video, review the notes, you're ready to go teach. The science of management and the art of leadership is really about establishing the proper standards and what fits your organization, formalizing those standards into systems, taking those formal processes, together will help you deliver on consistency, and proper consistency always will deliver success. It's all about building the right systems in the right way. So again, today at 3:30, room 202, we're going to have much more detail on this, so we hope to see you then. And then on Wednesday morning at 10 o'clock, we're going to do a session all about the virtual platform, about delivering success to agents. And here we have hundreds of videos teaching them the skills, the habits, the needs that they need to become successful. So we hope you join us. We'll look forward to it. Thanks very much. I'm glad to be with you all.